when we went into Whitesburg, take Shenandoah County and Page County and Warren County and throw them over in Fort Valley, raise the mountains up, put a couple more hills, and then flood it. It just, people not even being rescued or anything yet, and this is 2 weeks in. Plenty of food coming in on trucks. It's all disorganized. FEMA's supposed to be there. So when we were going in, we had supplies that you all had donated and everything. We put people in that shopping, bought shovels, boots, all kinds of cleaning supplies and stuff that they were asking for. They're getting the food in there, but they can't get to the food because they can't get from their houses. We were routed to an area where they had National Guardsmen in a big warehouse, because this was a big coal mining area 15, 20 years ago, and the coal mines, because of our government, has shut the coal mines down. So now all the money's left, so it's high poverty. And they were just coming out of it and supporting themselves with dollar stores and stuff, and now it's washed away. But anyway, they had sent us over to this warehouse, and we were supposed to unload there. Well, we've seen 20 National Guardsmen in this whole county of Blackburn. We toured about the size of Shenandoah County. We've seen 20 National Guardsmen, 10 trucks, and everybody else was fending for themselves. Now, since then, I've been doing some reading and studying on it, and there's a Baptist ministry, if you Google it, called Boots on the Ground. They're in there now that has some food trailers, portable bathrooms, portable laundry rooms, and stuff like that. But, I mean, this place just, I've never seen anything like this. I've worked floods around here and down south and stuff, and this just, these people need help, and I don't know how to do it. I mean, we've reached out to Todd Gilbert and some of these others, and it just, you know, there's going to be a long road recovery. Bridges washed out, so like the rivers and creeks come down and run together, and people, we went through this one section where there must have been 10, 15 bridges that they had to get across to get over to their houses. Their houses washed mud all through them, cars sitting in there, they have no vehicles to drive, and they're over there on the island like abandoned. We went, one more thing, we went through this one town called Neon, and Neon's probably about the size of Thomas Brook, had some businesses in it, like downtown Woodstock. The streets was about that wide. I'd say there was probably 15, 20 stores in there, laid along the river. It wiped out the whole town. The fire station, the police station, the sewer treatment plant, blew the lines up out of the ground. The word that we heard on last Saturday, we were told that somebody's going to bulldoze the whole town down. So all those people that live there, they're going to move. That they won't build that one back. But it was, if you got time and you're sitting around and you're Googling or talking to people, just look that up. It's just, to only be 5.5 hours away, and our government just did not make a good stance down there at all, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
boots on the ground?
It's called Boots on the Ground. And I just blundered into that because I was trying to figure out who was going to be there and what FEMA was saying, and you know, who was going to show up to help them. We might be going back down. Phil Hunt kind of leading the charge on that. He was born in Whitesburg, and he left there when he was 14, and he still has 3 or 4 family members. So real quick, one more short story. So we get into town. I told you it was all messed up. We couldn't unload. We had a 16-foot trailer loaded with shovels and brooms and all cleaning supplies and hygiene stuff and everything. We were routed, before we left on Thursday night, we were routed to this warehouse that the coal miners had where the Marines were, or the National Guardsmen were. We get there and find out, we can't unload this. Well, what do you mean? We can't take it here. We're only taking commercial trucks. And they must have had bottled water, 6 or 8, 10 tractor and trailer loads long and 3 trucks wide deep sitting in the parking lot, just all the supplies coming in. Well, where are we supposed to go? We were supposed to go to the Central High School, Whitesburg Central High School. So we turn around, drive 13 miles back to this high school. We get there and pull up. Phil Hunt's leading the charge. We pull into the parking lot, and they said, "What are y'all doing?" So we got supplies. We can't take that here. It says on the internet, and the mayor and the governor said this is where it comes. No, we can't take that here. You got to go over to the warehouse. No, we've already been to the warehouse. So anyway, some that went up. His nephew, Phil's nephew, is with him. He gets on the phone, calls a guy. We wound up going down, and this was the grace of God. This guy, we went down to a treatment plant in Whitesburg, and this guy got to telling us stories of being in the flood. His house was saved, but his neighbors and 3 houses down. Did you hear about the people that was washed away, lost their 4 kids? It was like a half a mile from where we were. But anyway, he gets telling us stories about this woman, his next door neighbor, standing in her doorway getting electrocuted by the water. It took him an hour and a half, him and some other people, to get her out of the house, had her dog on her head. He worked at the treatment plant, kept the treatment plant running in Whitesburg during all this. He works a 40-hour week normally. When he got his paycheck for that 2-week period, he had worked 80 hours and 146 hours overtime.
Wow. Oh, gosh.
And plus volunteered with everything. But the stuff went to a good place. Phil stayed there on a Saturday, and they distributed up in the mountains and back towards Neon and everything. So, but it's
Thank you.
just never seen anything like it.
Thank you so much. Brother Brad?
Just so you know, Missions Fund did donate $500 to y'all, and then we did donate another $500 to Samaritan's Purse, who's supposed to be down there. We know Samaritan's Purse and know the work that they do, so we try to give to them because we know how the dollars are spent. That's sometimes hard to figure out. Thank you for that update, and tell you what, it really makes you count your blessings when you're not going through anything like that. I wanted to start today by saying something, and this is in honor of Rob Cypher. No matter what I say about the work that I'm trying to do, I know that I am a sinner saved by grace, and no matter how much work you do for the kingdom, you're not going to get there. It has to be grace to get you there because you can't earn it. So that's for Rob Cypher, because sometimes I talk about the stuff that I'm trying to do and don't mention that. So he got on me the last time that I spoke. So I wanted to start out today about most of the stuff that I do is, yes, I do preach here sometimes, and I preached at other churches, but I don't really like this too much. I prefer one-on-one in the public and trying to witness for Christ. That's where I am normally better. With cerebral palsy that I have, people are normally pretty nice to me. I mean, you look on the news and you say the country is going in the wrong direction and people are not nice. Well, here's the deal. They see me with the walker or the cane. I mean, they're jumping up to grab the doors, and I get to see the goodness in a lot of people almost every day. And I do need their help at times, and they normally give it to me. And so I'll start with that. But the thing that I've learned is a lot of your witnessing does not happen in the church building. I mean, this is great that all of you came here today, and this is a great setting. But a lot of the stuff that I do is certainly not anywhere near church. And me and Bill Cypher were talking after Sunday school one day that he was with a pastor one time, and the pastor started talking to a guy that was noticeably, he was very drunk at the time. And this drunk had a very good command of the scriptures, but the pastor didn't keep talking to him because obviously he was inebriated at the time. I said, that's a good plan. But I said, Bill, here's the deal. I said, 2 of my most successful, and I won't mention the names because most of y'all won't, 2 of my most successful jobs witnessing were when I was single, and at the Strasburg Moose I would go and get the special for dinner. You get a meat and 2 vegetables for a decent price, and I normally wouldn't drink, but most of the guys out there at the Moose did, and 2 of these guys, we would start talking, and it also gave you a chance to eat with somebody. You didn't eat by yourself. And, you know, we would start talking about the Lord sometimes. And both of these guys said, well, if you're going to start talking about the Lord, aren't you going to jump on me for drinking? And I said, uh-huh. I said, well, the first miracle was water into wine. I said, people don't really like to admit that sometimes, but I said, I am not going. I said, you're sitting here having a beer with your dinner. You're not drunk. And I'm not going to worry about the speck of sand in your eye when I've got a plank in mine. I said, you know, we're going to get, and we had good talks about the Lord with these 2 guys, and when both of them died, they weren't, one of them went to church. The other one did not, would not go into church buildings. But when he died, because of those conversations, I knew that this gentleman knew that Jesus had died for him. And I knew from the conversations that we had at the Moose while he was drinking, I knew where he had gone. And that's a big thing. And the reason that he had such trouble with churches was the worst I have ever been treated in my life was at a Christian organization. I took my daughter up to Winchester, across from the Social Security office in Winchester. And there was a church that had a bounce house place. It was a play area thing. And we went in there, and the rule was there was this piece of carpet. And there was the carpet, and here was the hardwood floor. And you could not have your shoes on and walk on that carpet. That was against the rules. And I asked the lady, I said, listen, I'd like to see my daughter play on this stuff. I said, you can inspect my shoes. You can put something on the bottom of my shoes. But I can't take my shoes off. They're 1.5 inches. There's 1.5 inches lift on that. I have enough trouble walking around with my shoes. I take them off and I'm on the floor. Period. And she said, I'm sorry, sir. Under no circumstances are you going to walk on with shoes on that carpet. And I mean, I sat there and I let Madeline play for an hour or 2. And I came out and I was just fuming. And Leslie said, what's wrong with you? I said, they got a Pharisee growing there. I said, man, the Pharisees are out in force in this place. I said, you know, I'm telling you what. I looked at her and I said, I have witnessed to people on Harleys, got tattoos, got earrings, got hair that's crazy color. I said, all of those people would let me walk on that carpet and go sit down. All I wanted to do was sit down and watch my daughter play. I said, that lady, these are the rules. You got to follow the rules all the time. And I said, you know, I was supposed to, I said, that girl just trespassed against me as far as I'm concerned. And I was supposed to pray for this place, pray for her. I said, I don't want to do it. I eventually did. But a couple years later, I went down and that place had closed up. I said, the Pharisees didn't win, did they? I said, sometimes you got to watch. I am all about the straight and narrow, trying to do right for the Lord and stuff like that. And sometimes what happened to me on Monday was, and Billy, what time are you keeping time?
Yeah, you're fine. Just
I'm
keep
fine.
on. I'll let you.
I'm not going to run over because I wasn't planning on. I'm glad that we got to hear Pee Wee, but I'm not going to run over. Anyway, on Monday this week, I ran into, and I've witnessed a lot to a lot of people, had decent success, but Monday I ran into a friend of mine that did not have success. It was a complete and total failure. Now, it may end up not being, but it was a complete and total failure. This gentleman is 35 years old. He's worked on my wife's VW Bugs. He's a diesel mechanic. He's worked on them since 2013, and I've got to know him in that time. I don't know him well, but he had a son that was 11 years old named Ivan. Ivan had a heart problem. Ivan had lung problems. They were up at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, and Ivan, unfortunately, despite all they could do, and they did a lot, he passed away. And Ivan's mother predated him in death. I don't know why she passed away. So here he is, 35. His mother was a believer, and they were praying for this boy. I was praying for the boy. And the answer, the Lord answer was no. I want to take him back home. And unfortunately, Jeremy probably will never know until he goes. And like I say, if he doesn't, and I know this, if he doesn't accept Jesus, then he won't go the right way. Never. So I'm like, and he said, Brandon, I got to tell you, he said, I hate to tell you this, but he said, about 2 weeks ago, I thought about ending it. And I said, Jeremy, I understand. I said, if the Lord decided to take Madeline from me, and Madeline's 12, almost 13, I said, that would enter my mind. I would hope that I would never do anything. But I said, that girl's my whole life. I said, and I don't blame you for not. And he put a thing on Facebook where he's not a believer, but he does believe that he's in a better place, that he's not in pain. You can tell that he wants to believe. He told me, he said, I'm an agnostic right now. I'm not an atheist. He said, because atheists are crazy. I said, I'm not crazy. I just, I know that and I looked at him and said, Jeremy, I said, I know that the Lord had the ability to heal your son. And for whatever reason, one that we don't understand, he did not. And I said, you're in a terrible place and I'll be here for you and when I can. But really, there was really nothing. Because normally I use this, Jesus' appearances for the resurrection. And there's 11 different times, and there's one on here where he appeared to a crowd of 500 people. That's never been disputed. They've tried for over 2,000 years. I told him, I said, I'm a believer. I said, but I understand why you're having trouble right now. And that is basically what I want. What I wanted to mention this for is on Tuesday, I had a lady come into my office, and basically I didn't have to sell the insurance policy. The lady said she came in, and I'd really never met her before. She said, I've got this friend, and she gave her name, and she's a client of yours. And she told me that you were a Christian and you were the real deal. And you were an insurance agent, but you wouldn't lie to me. And she knew pretty much all of it. She said, I just want to buy it. I didn't have to do a thing. So that's always nice to hear that other people say that you're a real deal Christian. And I thought to myself, it's nice to hear, but I wish I would have been a better Christian or known what to say more yesterday. Because I said I didn't have the answers for him, and it's like that. It's like Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in everything you do, and he will make your path straight. I said, well, Lord, I don't understand this one at all. And I would just ask you all to pray for my friend Jeremy Hoover, who's 35. He should have, nobody knows, plenty of time to get it worked out, but sometimes when you witness, it doesn't go well. So I would ask for you to pray with me for Jeremy and the people of Kentucky, and try to move forward. Gracious Heavenly Father, I did the best I could for you on Monday. I didn't do very well. But you know that I tried. I would ask that you would use me or somebody else or your Holy Spirit to work on my friend Jeremy Uber. And you'll never understand why you took your son and all the other bad things that you've allowed to happen to him. But I said, I'd ask for you to provide for him in a special way. And it may be through me or through anyone else to get him to see that your son actually did die on that cross for him and that you love him. And he needs to feel your presence and know that you're with him in spite of everything that's happened. And I'll pray also for the people trying to help in Kentucky. I can't imagine what a mess that is. I would ask for you to provide for the citizens of Kentucky and get them the help they need sooner than later. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.